Remember Tulayh ibn Khuwaylid, who claimed that he's the prophet and he rebuilt again in the days of Abu Bakr. Now he became a great mujahid. Why should we rebel against them? When they give us a promise, they stand on their promise. They support us. They protect us. And we only give them small ransom. The jizya, the jizya is one dinero, is one golden coin. And this battle was called in Islam Fathul Futuh. And this is the battle of Nahawand. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهداه إلى يوم الدين. Amma ba'd, dear brothers and sisters, this is lesson number 5 of our commentary on the history of the 4 righteous caliphs. And last time we spoke about how Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu went conquering Iraq. And if you can go back to the map that I showed you in the group, you'll find that Umar managed to conquer all Iraq, and then he continued conquering Iran, which is what's so-called now Iran, actually. And today we're going to see how he went conquering Iran, and Yazdajerd, the king, the Persian king, was escaping. Every time he finds Muslims coming so close to him, he escapes to another place and to another place until we're going to see how Muslims are going to end the Persian Empire, which was a great empire, a very strong empire. No one imagined that Muslims can destroy or can end this empire in few years. It's an amazing thing. So let's go back to. So Umar radiallahu anhu decided to, after he conquered al-Madain, Ctesiphon, or Ctesiphon, which is the capital of Persia. It was the capital of the Sasanian, or the Sasanic Empire. The Sasanic Empire. You see? So after that, when Muslims, and they got lots of booties from it, something that Muslims never saw in their life, and they sent it to Umar radiallahu anhu. When Umar received that, he started sharing tears. He started crying. So they told him, "Why are you crying?" He said, "It's always when any nation gets all these types of booties and money and stuff like that, they start fighting with each other. They start fighting with each other." And so therefore he was actually, Umar radiallahu anhu was a person that is very smart and very clever, and he was inspired by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has inspiration. He can see the future in a way or another. And and the Prophet ﷺ said that there is going to be a big conflict between Muslims, and Umar is the cage between that. So when he asked Hudayfah ibn Yaman, who narrated this hadith, he said to him, "Is the cage going to be opened or broken?" He said, "It's going to be broken." And we're going to see later on what's going to happen to Muslims. So anyway, when Umar radiallahu anhu conquered all these great lands, Iraq is a big land full of nations, Arabs and Persians and Kurds and all types of religions, from Christianity to Mangians to etc. So therefore he decided to build cities and get inhabitants to live in it. So Therefore, the first city was Al Kufa, and Al Kufa it's northern. Actually, when you're going to Baghdad, it's before Baghdad. So Kufa comes after it, Baghdad, by a few kilometers. It's not so far from. So therefore, Al Madain was like the capital of Iraq. Al Madain Tisafon, which is the capital of the Sasanic Empire. So therefore, in the 17th Hijri year 17, Umar radiallahu anhu decided to make the capital of Iraq Al-Kufa. So he sent their people to see Salman al-Farisi and Zayd and Hudayfa from Yaman, and told them just go and see a good land there to make it as a city, and this city would be the capital of Iraq. And exactly that's what they did, and that's what they built that city in the year 17, and therefore it became a city, and it was inhabited by lots of people from Yemen. It was inhabited by people from Yemen, and later on it's going to be a very important city in Islam. And the same year, he decided to make another city which is close to the Persian Gulf. Now it's close to Kuwait. This city is Al-Basra, and in the history of Iraq, we always have a competition between Kufa and Basra. Kufa and Basra, they always used to compete with each other in knowledge, and sometimes you imagine that these cities are close to each other, where actually Al-Basra is close to Arabia and Kufa is far. It's close to Baghdad. Now Baghdad wasn't built. Baghdad was built in the Abbasid dynasty. You see. So therefore, Umar radiallahu anhu ordered Utbah ibn Ghazwan, who was a Sahabi, to build Al-Basra. And that's what happened. So we have now Kufa and we have Basra. And Umar radiallahu anhu put Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas as a governor of Al-Kufa, and Utbah ibn Ghazwan was the governor of Al-Basra. So these were the two main cities of Iraq. And Al-Kufa used to rule all the provinces that are Persia, and later on Azerbaijan, Hamadan, Ray, Aspahan. All these used to be under the authority of Al-Kufa, where Al-Basra used to rule until Khurasan, Sijistan, Makran, Karman, Persia, and Al-Ahwaz. And this is a huge land. So it's a city that rules all these territories. Something happened, and it was going to lead to a disaster. Muslims used to compete in conquering the lands and doing things that they feel that they're struggling in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the governor of Bahrain, I told you Bahrain was the eastern part of Arabia. So the governor there, Al-Ala ibn al-Hadrami radiallahu anhu, who was a Sahabi and who was a very righteous guy. And I told you that a miracle happened to him, that he, with his army, went over the sea, and they didn't sink. They just walked over the sea. He recited some prayers, and they passed on the sea. When the Persians saw him, they went crazy. They started saying, "Diwana ah, Diwana ah." I mean, these guys are jinn. They're not human beings. So when Al-Ala ibn Hadrami saw how Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas won the Persians in Iraq, he said, "Why can't I conquer Persia from Bahrain?" That means he's going to cut the sea, the Gulf, the Persian Gulf, and then he's going to be in the other side, which is Persia, and he'll conquer that land. But he didn't take the permission from the Caliph Umar radiallahu anhu. He didn't take the permission from him. He just made it from himself. So therefore, he went with some leaders of Bahrain, and until they reached to Persia. When they reached to Persia, they reached to a city called Istakhr, and it's in the central of Persia, the great city there. So a huge number of Persians came to fight against them, and they prevented them from going back to their boats. So this became a big problem, actually. And they were nearly going to be all surrounded and killed. So some leaders of Muslims were killed, and Muslims decided to withdraw to Basra. Basra was the capital of the southern part of Iraq, as I mentioned right now. And therefore, they sent to their brothers in Basra to help them. So Umar, when he knew this, he was angry. He was disappointed, and he ordered Utbah ibn Ghazwan to send a big army to help their brothers. They were 12,000, and they went until they met with Muslims there and helped them to withdraw to Basra. And Umar radiallahu anhu was angry from Al-Ala ibn Hadrami, and he took him. He sent him to Kufa to be under the authority of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, and he put a new governor on Bahrain. Then Muslims went to Al-Ahwaz. Al-Ahwaz was under Al-Ahwaz. Now it's a big province. They speak Arabic, actually, in Iran, and and it's so close to Al-Basra. Even the people of Al-Ahwaz and Al-Basra are so similar to each other. Maybe the same tribes, the same place. They wear the same clothes, the same, So the people of Ahwaz in this era, they were under the authority of one of the leaders of Persia called Al-Hurmuzan. Al-Hurmuzan. And Al-Hurmuzan escaped from Al-Qadisiyah. And he went to Ahwaz, and he remained there. You see? So Umar radiallahu anhu was sent to the governor of Al-Kufa, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, and told him to support Utbah ibn Ghazwan, radiallahu anhu, the governor of Al-Basra. He told him support him by two great Muslim leaders, Nu'aym ibn Muqarrin and Nu'aym ibn Mas'ud. These are Sahaba, radiallahu anhu. And he sent them there, and there are other leaders that were sent there. So they went, and the battle started with Al-Hurmuzan and his army. So Al-Hurmuzan was fighting, and all of a sudden he received some bad news. So he lost the battle. He lost the battle. So therefore, Muslims took all those lands, and Al-Hurmuzan tried to escape. Then he said, "Okay, let us just agree about an agreement with each other. So I agree to surrender, and you don't kill me, and you don't, and I'm under your authority." Okay. So Al-Hurmuzan therefore surrendered to Muslims, and they didn't harm him. They didn't harm him. And Ahwaz was conquered in year number 17 Hijri. Year 17 Hijri. So the other Muslims went back to Basra, and many people, many army, especially from the Arabs, converted to Islam, and therefore all of a sudden, after a little bit, when Muslims withdrew, they went back to their land. Al-Hurmuzan betrayed Muslims, and he rebelled against Muslims again. And they asked from Kurdish tribes and others to support him. So Umar radiallahu anhu sent to Utbah ibn Ghazwan. So Utbah ibn Ghazwan sent to Umar, and he told him, "There's a big problem. Hurmuzan rebelled again against us." So Umar sent Hurqus ibn Zuhayr. I want you to remember this name, Hurqus ibn Zuhayr al-Sa'di. This guy, look, he was a leader here. Look what's going to happen to him later on. Hurqus ibn Zuhayr al-Sa'di, he ordered him to fight and to struggle with an army from al-Basra until they go to al-Ahwaz and fight against al-Hurmuzan. So that's what happened, and he won, and al-Hurmuzan tried to escape. So he went to a city called Souq, and therefore, after a little bit, actually, Muslims faced a very hard time here in this place, in Ahwaz and in Khuzestan, Rama Hormuz, and Hormuzan caused them a lot of problem. So Nu'man ibn Muqarrin fought against them, and Nu'man managed to conquer Rama Hormuz. It's a city now in Iraq, and then the army of al-Basra reached to al-Ahwaz, and they conquered it, and then they continued, and they had a very strong battle near Tustar. So they found Persians. They dug a trench there. And Muslims stayed there for a long time, for some time. Here we had two great Muslim leaders. They were Sahaba, Al-Bara ibn Malik and Majza'at ibn Thawr al-Sadusi. These two great Muslims. Bara ibn Malik, remember Bara ibn Malik in the battle of the garden, when Musaylimah the liar entered this garden and he closed it. So Bara ibn Malik, he's the brother of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu. He's his brother, and his mother is Sulaym radiallahu anha al-Ansariya, a great Sahabiya. So he told them, just throw me inside the garden, and he opened the door. So Bara ibn Malik was a very thin man. He was very strong in fighting, in struggling, and in this battle he struggled a lot, subhanallah al-azim, and he was killed in this battle, rahimahullah. He and Majzat ibn Thawr al-Sadusi were killed. How did Muslims manage to enter this city? One of the Persians told them, I can show you a way to enter this city from a tunnel, and that's how they entered, and they took the city, and Al-Bara ibn Malik and Majza was killed there. Many Muslims were killed there under. I think they threw on them. They shot them with the flames of fire, and they killed them. So the Persians here used a type of weapons that Muslims didn't used to know. You see? Okay. So therefore, the army went and they conquered all the land of Sus. All the land of Sus. Close. It's all the land that is close to Al-Ahwaz, and they conquered it by an agreement with its leaders. Okay. Now Al-Hurmuzan was captured. Hormuzan was captured, and Ahnaf ibn Qais and Anas ibn Malik and others took him to Umar ibn Khattab. They took him as a captive to Umar ibn Khattab, and then when they reached Medina, they clothed him with his usual clothes, his normal clothes, as a king. And he used to wear a type of clothes from silk and gold, and wearing beautiful garments and stuff like that, with a crown on his head. So when Umar radiallahu anhu saw him, he was so angry. He said, take off these clothes from him and give him normal clothes. And then Hormuzan said to Umar, please, I want to drink water. And before you kill me, I want you to tell me that you're not going to kill me until I tell you all what I can tell you. Yeah, before that, and Hormuzan was asking about Umar. Where's Umar, this king that ruled all these lands and that destroyed our kingdom? So when they reached, they found Umar. He was sleeping in the Masjid Nabawi. He was sleeping there, and he had this. He had something in his hand. He trains people with it, or hits people when they do something wrong. And he saw him sleeping. He said, "Who is this?" He said, "This is Umar." He said, Where are his soldiers? Where are his protectors? Who is with him?" No, Umar doesn't have all these things. He said, "This guy's a prophet. Is this guy a prophet?" He said, "No, he's not a prophet, but he's a follower of a prophet." So Umar woke up and he saw this guy. He said, "What's this? What's this?" He said, "Thanks to Allah that humiliated you by Islam, humiliate you and the people who are like you by Islam." And he ordered them to take off his clothes and give him normal clothes. So he told them, "Oh, you, how do you find it? You betrayed us, and then now we captured you. Look, when you betrayed us, this is what you deserve. This is what you deserve, because you betrayed us. You gave us a promise, and then you broke your promise." So he said to Umar, "I'm afraid that you're going to kill me right now before I tell you." He said, Umar told him, Umar told him, "What is your excuse about what you have done?" He said, "I'm afraid that if before I tell you, you kill me." He said, "No, I won't kill you until you tell me." He said, "Okay, please, I want drink water. I'm so thirsty, and please don't kill me until I drink water." He said, "I won't kill you until you drink water." So they gave him a big cup, very tough cup. He said, "If I die, I can't drink in this water, in this cup." So Omar said to him, "Don't be afraid. You can drink water. He won't let you die without drinking water." All of a sudden, what did he do? He threw the cup. He said, "I'm not going to drink water. And now you gave me a promise to not killing me." He said, "Oh no, I'm going to kill you." So Anas bin Malik and others said, "No, Amir al-Mu'mineen, you can't kill him. You gave him a promise. And you told him you're not going to kill him until he tells you. And you're not going to kill him until he drinks water. Now he says, I'm not going to drink water." He said, "But he killed Bara ibn Malik, your brother. And he killed Thawd. So that promise. And you told him so, and that's it. That's a promise. You gave him aman. That's called aman. It's a rescue. It's secure. And this is in Islam something very, very important and very sacred. If you give somebody a secure, if a Muslim gives a secure, or so he told him, "You tricked me. Nobody tricked me in Islam." Anyway, Therefore, he says, by Allah, I won't be tricked except by a Muslim. So Al-Hurmuzan converted to Islam and he became a Muslim. Hurmuzan became a Muslim, and Umar radiallahu anhu started giving him his money as any Muslim, because the Islamic State used to give money to all people. This is the story of Al-Hurmuzan. Hurmuzan later is going to have a story. Oh, I'll tell you the story later, inshallah. Now, Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais said to Amir al-Mu'mineen, you prevented us from going to the land of Persia. And as long as we don't go and kill their king and finish the Sasanic Empire, they might come and revenge again. So therefore, we want you to give us the permission to do that. We want you to give us permission to do that. Now, the king of Persia, Yazdijad, received lots of army to help to support him, and they gathered in a city called Nahawand. Nahawand, it's close to Hamadan. It's close to Hamadan, northwest Iran. Now, northwest Iran. So a lot of kings of those lands supported him, and they went to attack the Muslims from the Persian borders. So Sa'd radiallahu anhu sent a message to Umar and told him, we need now support. But in this time, some people started claiming and blaming and complaining against Sa'd. Sa'd actually, Umar radiallahu anhu, when he went there, when he sent to see what's happening there, he discovered that these guys were nasty guys, and Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas didn't do anything wrong. But he decided to change the governor of Kufa just to stop things and to continue the work. So he ordered Nu'man ibn Muqarrin al-Muzani to be the leader or the governor of Kufa. And he gave him, he advised him what to do and how to work. And therefore, Muslims went to Nahawand. Nahawand actually had a very great battle there, because Nu'man ibn Muqarrin, when he reached there, he received army by the leadership of Umar ibn Thani and Amr ibn Ma'di Karib and Tulayh ibn Khuwaylid. Remember Tulayh ibn Khuwaylid, who claimed that he's a prophet and he rebuilt again in the days of Abu Bakr? Now he became a great mujahid. And Amr ibn Ma'di Karib, I think the same thing. He was in Yemen, and he caused Muslims a lot of problem, and then he repented and he came back to Islam. And now they're fighting in the sake of Allah and conquering the lands in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, there was a big battle in Nahawand, and Muslims actually made a trick here. The Muslims showed the enemies that they lost the battle. They lost the battle, and they didn't manage to continue the battle. You see? So the Persians, when they saw Muslims defeating, they were so happy. They say, oh my God, now Muslims are defeating. This is the first time they defeat, and we're gaining. All of a sudden, Muslims tricked them and surrounded them, and there was a great battle where the Persians defeated and got destroyed, and Muslims conquered Nahawand, and Nu'man ibn Muqarrin passed away there, and his brother didn't want to say that to anybody. Nu'man ibn Muqarrin was the leader of the battle. When he got killed in the battle, his brother Nu'aym didn't tell that to anybody, but he gave the leadership to Hudhayfah ibn Yaman radiallahu anhu, and they continued fighting until the morning, until the end of the day, and that's where the Persians defeated and lost the battle, and this battle was called in Islam Fathul Futuh, the great conqueror, and this is the Battle of Nahawand, where Muslims gained and took a big land. And then Muslims kept on until they conquered Hamadan. And they conquered it. Now look, what happened when the other people see these huge battles and they defeat in it, others decide to just sign agreements with Muslims instead of fighting. So therefore, they just, oh look where Muslims reached. They kept on going until they reached to Ar-Ray. Ar-Ray now, it's part of Tehran, the capital of Iran right now. It's part of Tehran, capital of Iran. So Muslims, when they reached, so Nu'aym ibn Muqarrin, when he reached to Ray, he fought there and he gained. And he sent a message to Umar radiallahu anhu telling them what happened, and told them that no, he was in Hamadan, and then he decided to, when he managed to conquer Hamadan, he went to a place called Wajrud, where the people of Daylam and Azerbaijan and people of Ray gathered there, and Nu'aym fought them, and he won. So he told them that I want to go to Ray to conquer it. Imagine now they're going to the central of Persia. And when he reached to Ray, it's the leader of its army, called Al-Farhan or Abu Farhan or something like that. He said, okay, let's just sign an agreement with each other, and I don't want to follow this king. So he's the leader of the army, but the king didn't agree about that. He said, forget about the king. Now I'm going to sign an agreement with you. So the king asked other nations who were close to him to send support to him, to support him by army. And there's where Nu'aym ibn Muqarrin, close to Ray, that's where he fought against them. And Abu Farhan, who was the Persian army who surrendered, or who signed an agreement with Nu'aym, he saw that the battles are going to stay a long time. So therefore, he said to Nu'aym, I'll give you a part of my army, and you can enter the city with it. And the Persians aren't going to feel that. And then we're going to surrender the city. So therefore, when they are going to try to prevent us from entering the city, you say Allahu Akbar from behind them, and then we both capture the city. That's what happened. So therefore, the Persians defeated, and Muslims gained Ray. And they sent the booties to Umar radiallahu anhu, and they gave the army their portion from the booty. And then they went to a city called Homs, and they continued conquering the lands. Here, where Umar radiallahu anhu saw, when he saw that Persians became weak, he gave the permission to Muslims to keep on going to inside the lands of the Persians. And the the non-Arabs. Actually, they say Bilad al-Ajam, the Ajam who are non-Arabs. We have Arabs and non-Arabs. The Arabs, al-Arab wal-Ajam. That's how they say. So therefore, uh, he that was actually the idea of Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais. So therefore, he sent to Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, who was the governor of Al-Basra after Utbah ibn Ghazwan, who passed away, radiallahu anhu. So he told him to go and to wait for the support, the army support that is going to support him, and that's what happened. And they continued. There's a lot of actually there's a lot of details here. I don't want to tell you all of the details, but Umar radiallahu anhu sent a lot of leaders to several places in the same time. This guy to Istakhab, this guy to Karman, this guy to Sijistan, this guy to Makran. All these lands now are in Iran, but some of them are in Afghanistan. And look, you're going to see how Muslims now are passing from Iran to Azerbaijan to Afghanistan, and then they're going to reach to the two great rivers, Amudarya and Samudarya, which are in Arabic, which are called in the Islamic books Sayhun Ujayhun. Sayhun Ujayhun. These great rivers of the Turkestan now. They are the rivers that split between Turkestan and Afghanistan and Iran. Muslims conquered Azerbaijan by the leadership of Bukayr ibn Abdullah. And Nu'aym ibn Muqarrin supported them with his army. And they continued until they took all that land. And then, look what after they took Azerbaijan, they continued until they started going to the land of Armenia, Georgia, all these lands. You see? So they conquered a city called Al-Bab. Bab al-Abwab, they call it in Islamic books. Bab al-Abwab. And they reached to Armenia, and they conquered Tbilisi, which is the capital of Armenia right now. And they reached to a lot of lands there, subhanAllah al-Azim. You can go back to, then Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais went to Khurasan. What is Khurasan actually? Khurasan now is the great province that is northern Iran and all Afghanistan, or most Afghanistan is considered as part of Khurasan. It's a great land. Ahnaf ibn Qais went to fight against Yazdijr, the Persian king. Yazdijr was in a city called Mirv, they call it Mirv. And he was asking the Persians and all these nations there to help him and support him against Muslims. So he reached to Herat. Herat now is in Afghanistan. So Muslims took Herat. And then they went to Maru Shahijan. So any place Muslims conquer, Yazdijr escapes to another one, until he sent to Marw al-Rudh, which is close to Herat and Balkh. Balkh now is a province north of Afghanistan, and it doesn't exist anymore. But there's a place called Balkh, but the city doesn't exist. The city doesn't exist, but there's a state called Balkh in Afghanistan now, and the main city there is Mazar Sharif. So there is a city called Mazar Sharif. It's a great city in northern Afghanistan. That is Balkh, or it's near Balkh or something like that. So therefore, the Yazdijr sent messages to the Turkic king, the king of Turks, and the king of the Sulk, and the king of China, asking them all to support him against Muslims. And Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais kept on conquering city after city and place after place, and sending everything to and sending the four portions of the booty to Umar radiallahu ta'ala. The fifth, 1/5 portion to Umar radiallahu anhu. Now what happened here is that Yazdajjal, when he asked some people there to support him and to help him, they refused. What did they tell him? They said, why should we fight, or why should we rebel against Muslims? And actually, when Muslims ruled us, they were very just and they were good, and we didn't see from them anything bad. Why should we rebel against them? When they give us a promise, they stand on their promise. They support us. They protect us. And we only give them small ransom. The jizya, the jizya is one dinar, one dineros, one golden coin for every adult. It's nothing. What is one golden coin for every adult? It's nothing. But the Persians used to ask them very heavy taxes. So they prefer to be under the authority of Muslims rather than going back to Persians. So that's why they refused to support Yazdajjal. So actually, Muslims kept on conquering. And here there was a very interesting story, and I'm going to finish the lecture with this story. Sariyat ibn Zanim, or Sariyat ibn Zunaym al-Kilabi, was sent by Umar to conquer Pasa and Darabajard. These are lands of Persia. So he met there with their army in a desert, and they fought against each other. And the Persians asked the Kurds to support them. So Muslims were in a very hard time. They had a hard time. Umar saw a dream, and then he asked people in the morning to come to the masjid, and he told them that I'm going to give you a speech today. He called them to pray and to give them a speech. And then when he started speaking, all of a sudden he said, "Oh, Muslim souls!" All of a sudden he left everything and he said, "Oh, Sariya, the mountain, the mountain!" And then he continued his speech. So the Sahaba told him, "What is this? You were speaking, all of a sudden you say, Ya Sariya, Jabal, Jabal, what is this?" Sariya heard the word. And he understood from him that he has to protect his back by putting the mountain behind him so that they can fight with protecting their back. And that's what he did, and that led him to gain the battle. And when he met Umar, he said, "In the day so and so we heard your voice." And that's what helped us in the battle, subhanAllah. So this was one of the miracles of Umar radiallahu ta'ala. So anyway, Muslims kept on conquering until they conquered Karman, Sistan, which is, they call it Sistan, Makran, and now you can see that Muslims conquered all so-called Iran, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Afghanistan, and they reached to the borders of the so-called now Turkestan, the Great Turkestan. Let us stop here, inshallah, until we continue next lecture. Thank you very much for being patient with me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, now here it called for Maghrib Adhan, so I'm going to excuse you and go to eat my futur, inshallah. You're welcome.
صح السلام عليكم.
Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.